This is the back of the police station right over here. This protest started at Pershing Square,
Black lives, they matter here.
downtown LA, going to City Hall. Downtown Los Angeles.
When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Justice. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Justice. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Justice. When do we want it? Now. No justice. No peace. No racist. Police. No justice. No peace. No racist. Police. No justice. No peace. No racist. Police. No justice. being peaceful. We will not give them an excuse and a scapegoat for their murderous behavior. If you want to be an ally, support us. Amplify our voices, uplift us. But please do not do that, because tomorrow we have to wake up and still be black. I came from the hospital to be here because my people are dying. And I love you and I thank you for listening, because we are all brothers and sisters, and if they come for one of us, they're gonna have to deal with all of us. So I'd like to give my brother from No More Names, the founder, your undivided attention, and thank you for your presence, because this is a war and we are not going to stand for these injustices. If you saw the RNC, it's blatant in our faces. And now it's about, what are we going to do? You are history. Each one of you living, breathing, walking history. Please take care of yourself and take care of each other.
Can everybody hear me? Can everybody hear me? Can everybody hear me? Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello.
In the meantime, I'm gonna bring some water down and we're gonna do it family style. Take some and pass it back, okay? Don't be shy. If you need water, please take it. That's what it's here for. We gotta make sure everybody's safe, hydrated.
What's up, buddy?
Can you hear me now? Any better? Can y'all hear me now? There we go. Thank y'all for being here. Again, my name is 11. I'm the founder of No More Names LA. I want to thank you guys for being here again. Like my sister Sierra said, we are waging war. For far too long, we have all been complicit in the system of oppression of black and brown people in this nation. I say today, enough is enough. Let me hear you say, enough is enough. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. It's been over 160 days and we're still demanding justice for our sister Breonna Taylor. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. Black Lives Matter is not a political ploy. These are human rights violations that we're fighting for. The right to be treated and seen equally under the law is not political. It's a human right. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. The cries of our people have been dismissed and pacified for far too long. But a new day is on the dawn. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. I wanted to come out here and stand for our dear brother Jacob Blake, who was shot in the back 7 times in front of his 3 adolescent children. We can't continue to make this system okay. We cannot continue to be complicit. We cannot continue to allow our voices to be silenced. We have to vote on November 3rd like our lives depend on it, because they do. We saw in the RNC they want to continue to villainize our movement. They want to continue to co-opt our messaging and destroy our purpose. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. I need each and every one of you to make it your business not only to get yourselves out and vote on November 3rd, but to get everybody you know out to vote on November 3rd. Do you hear me? You gotta do it for Ahmad. You have to do it for Breonna. You gotta do it for Tamir. You gotta do it for Sandra. You gotta do it for all the brothers and sisters and all the names that we will never know. all the lies, all the future, all the purpose that was stolen for us. You have to put that all in the ballot. They want to continue to sow seeds of division and divisiveness, but we now know the truth. The people united can never be divided. There's a shifting in the atmosphere. There's a new day on the horizon, but we have to stay vigilant. We have to stay active. We have to continue to get ourselves involved in the things of government. Each and every one of you guys is a leader in your household, a leader in your community, a hero to somebody in your life. Understand that we are the ancestors for the future generations, and we have to take that responsibility seriously. Our babies are scared, and rightfully so. For too long, we've allowed this system to continue for generation after generation after generation after generation. Enough is enough. No more bloodshed. I'm tired of waking up every day seeing another black man or a black woman being accosted by a white supremacist, being killed or maimed by a police officer that's supposed to be dedicated to protecting and serving our communities. Enough is enough. We have enough people that are waking up now that we can actually actively invest in the future, invest in change, but we cannot get weary in well-doing. We cannot allow the violence that is being forced upon us to discourage us from our mission, to discourage us from the future that is possible. Mother Nature is crying out at the injustices that are happening to its people. We have wildfires ravaging and raging all over California. Hurricanes destroying Louisiana in the middle of America. It's time that we erase the sins of our forefathers and chart a new path ahead. We can and we must achieve this mission and its goal. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. I believe wholeheartedly that this is the dream that Dr. King died for. The dream that he spoke about almost 60 years ago in Washington just yesterday. We've been allowed ourselves to become complicit and to be pacified and made docile by the incremental changes that they've tried to apply to the system. But I don't want to see any more streets being painted with Black Lives Matter. I want Black Lives Matter to be in policy. I want Black Lives Matter to be in the mindset of all Americans in all states in these United States. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. We cannot continue to allow them to weaponize our skin color or the texture of our hair or the way that we wish to wear our hair. Enough is enough. We have to come together and remember that the many outweigh the few. That their job is to represent and reflect us. We are a diverse, robust, and powerful people. Everybody in the African diaspora, that's not just black people, y'all. That's Latinos, that's Asians. We're all one human race. But they sow these seeds of division to confuse us. The first Hebrews were in Ethiopia. Do your history. Do your history. We are all one people. We have to come together. We have to look out for one another. We have to lock arms with one another. We have to support each other. Invest in minority businesses. If the business that you're supporting does not support you, why are you still shopping there? It's too many people that are craving and raging over Yeezy brand and Louis Vuitton, but they don't support you. They're not out here supporting you, advocating for you, but you have somebody in your neighborhood with a startup, with their dreams on the line that you can support. Under the coronavirus, so many small businesses are being destroyed and are gone for good. We gotta support ourselves, uplift each other. Go out, check on your neighbors. Be a neighbor. Be a neighbor. Call somebody. Say, are you good? Form a plan to vote. Make sure that you're going to your local city council meetings. Make sure that you're actively involved and engaged, because this is what we've all been marching and fighting for. November 3rd is very important, but what we do after November 3rd is even more important. We have to continue this march forward on and on and on and on. So many people have been telling me that we have to just accept that the things that we're fighting for may not be achievable in our lifetime. I say hell no to that. Enough is enough. We have what it takes to end racism in our lifetime. We have what it takes to actually make equality equitable in our lifetime. Let's see it through. Let's get it done. All right, y'all. No more names. No more names. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. No more racism. No more racism. No more racism. No more racism. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. I want to get back to my sisters here.
Say his name! Say his name! Say his name! I want to talk to you guys about the way forward. Because at the end of the day, I have done so many marches, and it's not to any glory of my own. But I feel an obligation and a due diligence to ask within myself, what is next? Especially as I look out and I see what's happening. As the violence is escalating, it's almost as though since George Floyd had his life ripped out from just ripped away from him in front of all of us in this public lynching, that it almost seems like we've lost more black lives. The more we say it, the more it keeps happening. And I keep hearing the song, "They Don't Care About Us" by Michael Jackson. Because it's been clear, the actions speak for themselves. But what are we going to do about it? Life is not about what happens to you, it's about how you react. It's not about what you have, it's about what you do with what you have. You have a privilege to vote. And need I remind you, people died so many of us could have that privilege. How dare we not vote? Yes, march, but vote. Yes, protest, but vote. Post, but vote. I've often wondered, does my vote even matter? But I'm here to tell you, they wouldn't be trying to shut down the post office if it didn't. They wouldn't be trying to send National Guards and policemen to brown and black neighborhoods if your vote in particular didn't matter. That should empower you. When I first started doing this work and people started coming for me, I felt empowered. I said, wow, my voice must really matter. But I am not special in that regard. We are all blessed with the privilege to vote. And some of us, 50,000 people here alone in this city with felonies, they can't vote due to systematic oppression. So their rights as citizens have been removed. Vote for them. Vote for the kids that are in cages, whose parents have been ripped away on their own indigenous land. Vote for your ancestors that sat in fields that never thought that they would see this. Martin Luther King died for giving a speech after he gave a speech 57 years ago yesterday about all of you standing with all of us. Vote for that. I know, because some of you may know, I've been out here. I get it. We have to stand up, but we also have to turn out and vote. I do not, in my opinion, if we go back and forth with the Trump protester and we are not registered to vote, we have lost that day. We have lost. We have to vote. As my brother said, and as Barack Obama said, like our lives depend on it, because they do. So we can get the right people in there. And if you don't like the options, that's okay. You don't have to. But we are fighting against fascism, against tyranny, against the monarchy. The RNC The Republican National Convention that was held a few days ago in and itself violated so many laws. You cannot have a political campaign or do any politicking in a federal building. Look it up. They're taunting it in our faces because they think you're ignorant enough not to know or not to care. Prove them wrong. And to the allies, I love you dearly. I founded Black Lives Speak, Black Allies Speak, 48 hours after George Floyd was murdered because I couldn't believe how many people cared about black people. It brought tears to my eyes when we were out marching all those months from June, July, August, even May. One of the things that got me out there going because I saw all of y'all and I was like, damn, how am I not gonna march for me and they marching for me? But now, I need you guys to vote. Bring your friends to vote. Bring your black friends to vote. Out here fighting and all that, guess what? They will use it as rhetoric against us. I know that's not everybody. Don't give them that. We need you. Black people are dying and we need you. You have to be aware. I said this on this stage 3 months ago. A philosopher once said, act as though everything you do is the law of the land. Make it as though it was. You cannot be out here giving them what they want because they will run with it. They are the terrorists. They are the domestic, homegrown terrorists that this country was founded on. Police officers, law enforcement, they're not all bad, but let's be clear. The system was bred from slave catching. Look it up. And if you want to talk to me about it, I got a degree and I'm happy to sit with you. I'm very happy to oblige that. These are just the facts. It's a fact I wish I didn't have to repeat. It's a reality I wish I didn't have to know, but it's true. Now what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? No justice! No justice! Say his name! Say his name! Just as sure as Jacob Blake is fighting for his life right now, paralyzed, possibly forever, the strength it took for him to survive that great injustice, that innocent, beautiful black man, what happened to him, shot 7 times in front of his children while he was delivering gifts. And then they tried to handcuff him, although he's already paralyzed to his bed yesterday. Just as sure as George Floyd breathed and fought for his life for 8 minutes and 46 seconds, just as sure as Breonna Taylor lay on that floor for another 6 minutes without getting any type of legal help where she could have survived, just as sure as we keep fighting. That's as sure as I need you guys to vote. This is not a game. They are trying to silence you because you do matter. So I ask, please, keep in mind that if you want black lives to continue to matter, you have to define what that means every day, starting with voting. So can you please put your fist in the air and say to the person next to you, thank you for being here. Say to the other person, thank you for being here. I'm going to lift you up. I'm going to lift myself up. I'm going to lift this country up. For better. For justice. For peace. For change. For democracy. And I pledge to vote. Please don't say it if you don't mean it. I pledge to vote. Thank you. God bless you.
Y'all ready to keep marching?
Wait, did you?
Yes. Where?
Yeah, you want to phone up?
Yeah. That's him?
Here.
That's my brother Etienne here from Walk Good LA who's going to speak now. Woo!
How's everybody feeling? I know we were doing a lot of chants out there as we were protesting, but I want you to follow along with the one that we do with Walk in LA. Now, I don't care what key you're in, just as long as you are on rhythm. You feel me?
Yeah.
Mama, mama, can't you see?
Mama, can't you see
what the system's done to me?
what the system's done to me?
They lock us up and shoot us down.
They lock us up and shoot us down.
Ain't no justice in this town.
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 Papa, Papa, can't you see?
Papa, Papa, can't you see
what the system's done to me?
what the system's done to me?
They lock us up and shoot us down.
They lock us up and shoot us down.
Ain't no justice in this town.
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 But we gon' turn it all around.
We gon' turn it all around.
Give a round of applause for yourselves. Repeat after me. You can't stop the revolution.
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 They 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 can't stop the revolution.
Now I see a lot of y'all with your fists up. I want to remind you what that fist means. That means power. That means the will to not give up. That means purpose. Because we are all here for a purpose. We are here for a God-given purpose. Some of you all are finding your purpose. And that purpose was to be here, together, in solidarity, because it is your calling. It is your calling to fight for black lives. So when you walk down these streets in downtown Los Angeles, and you see people turning a blind eye as if they don't see you, you put your fist up. Power to the people. 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 I like that energy. I like that energy. Keep going. But I need you to remember that while we protest, we must now turn that protest power into policy. My sister Sierra is encouraging everyone to vote, but now we must know what we are voting for. I do not have all the answers. I'm learning myself. We are all learning, but we must not be hard on ourselves. We must learn to not just forgive, but to be encouraging to others, so that they can see the right side of history, so that they can be on the right side of freedom, so that they can be on the right side of strength and power. Twelve weeks ago, excuse me, it feels like 12 years ago, God damn it. 12 weeks ago, I started marching in the Mid-Wilshire area with Walk Good LA. It's my organization that I started to fight and heal in solidarity. Just as important as it is for us to fight, we must learn to heal together, because we can't do this by ourselves. And when I started marching, I was drained. Fuck, today I was drained. I was tired. But when my brothers and sisters for No More Names told me to come out, I regained and I recharged, and I found that energy because I'm marching with you, because I'm chanting with you. Because this is not a me fight. This is a we fight. But we must not forget that while we protest, while we chant, while we occupy these spaces, we must do our homework and learn what these policies mean and find understanding. So we're not just spewing out, arrest the cops that killed Breonna Taylor. Because these motherfucking cops are protected by law. But we, of course, qualified immunity. But in order to shut down the system, we must cut it from its roots. I know it's hot, guys, but we gotta keep going day in and day out. Because if Martin Luther King and his brothers and sisters could march in the heat of Alabama in goddamn suits and dresses and stockings, we could do it in some jeans, in some shorts, in some tank tops. I encourage you to find your voice. Be the voice for the voiceless. Breathe your breaths for those that are no longer to breathe again. I know we are here to fight for Jacob Blake as he lays paralyzed to his hospital bed in Kenosha, Wisconsin. But I ask you to say the name of Trayson Pellerin, who was shot 10 times, 12 hours in Lafayette, New Orleans, right before Jacob Blake. But because of a hurricane and because of the pandemic, his life has now been swept aside. No life is greater than another. But a mother will no longer see her son in Lafayette, New Orleans. Look him up. Say his name. Say his name. Say his name. Say his name. We also lost Anthony McLean in Pasadena, in our own fucking city. Say his name. Say his name. Say his name. I want us all to breathe. On the count of 3. I want you to breathe in. 1, 2, 3. Let it out. Breathe in. Let it out. One last time. Breathe in. Let it out. I know we're enraged. I know we are angry. But let's turn that anger and enragement into love. Because that is the only way we are going to fight the injustice that we are fighting today. It is through peace. It is through love. No good is going to come out of hate, anguish, and anger. We can be angry, but now we must encourage each other to love one another. That is the only way we're going to eradicate this fucking hate that we are living in right now. I see this brother's sign that says, I am human. Beyond us being black, white, Asian, Latino, Latina, queer, trans, we are all human beings, and we should all be treated as such, and we should love each other as such. So as we continue to march, as we continue to protest, we do this out of love. No justice!
No peace!
No racist. Police. No justice. No peace. No racist. Police. You can't stop the revolution. 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 My name is Etienne Maurice. Follow us at Walk at LA. We're going to be starting our new protest every Saturday. Follow us. I love you. I love y'all. Shout out to No More Names. Thank you. And then, I'm forgetting about the things that I'm putting together every week. Sunday, yoga, LA High Memorial Park. Again, as important as it is for us to fight together, I ask that you heal together as well. Tomorrow, LA High Memorial Park, 10 o'clock. It's a 1-hour free yoga session. You're more than welcome to come and breathe with some other folks of color and stretch as we recharge and we find restorative justice through healing. As well as on Wednesday, we do runs. If you're not a runner, maybe this might be the time for you to run. You want to get some stress out. So Wednesday, we run for justice at the Urban Light at LACMA at 7 o'clock. All this information is on our page. We're trying to use social media the best way we can. We're going to post more policies for us to understand. We're going to encourage people to vote. So I ask that you keep on fighting, keep on fighting, keep on fighting. Thank you.
So I just wanted to make you guys aware of some policy that you can look into. I just want to be able to leave you guys with something tangible that you can access. And I want you guys to look into the BREATHE Act, okay? I'm going to break it down for you really quickly, but please go to breatheact.org to learn more about the BREATHE Act. It's an important bill put together by Movement for Black Lives and other 150 organizations doing the work. Here's the breakdown into 4 sections. It's about divesting federal resources from incarceration and policing into ending criminal legal system harms. 2, it's investing new approaches to community safety and utilizing funding incentives. 3, it's allocating new money to build healthy, sustainable, and equitable communities for all people. 4, it's about holding officials accountable and enhancing self-determination for black communities. Okay, so go to breatheact.org. There's another policy I want to tell you guys about. If you haven't looked into the peoplesbudgetla.org, I really encourage you to look into the People's Budget. That's right here in our own community here in LA. All right. When I say care, you say not cops. Care. Care. Defund the police. 54% of the unrestricted general fund is currently allocated to the crooked LAPD. We demand that City Hall and the mayor, we gotta get him out by the way. Everybody say, bye, Eric. Bye. We gotta demand that City Council and the mayor, the new mayor, divest from the police. We want a budget that will invest in our communities we need. We know that the police do not make our communities safe. We know this. We know that they don't make our communities safe. Recently, both Mayor Garcetti and City Council unveiled proposals to cut LAPD's funding budget by only $150 million. That's not enough. Defund the police. Defund the police. Don't be fooled. This still would have over half of our budget going to police. We demand more. Defund the police. Defund the police. Divest from the police. Divest from the police. Invest in our communities. Invest in our communities. I don't know about y'all, but when we was walking, there was a lot of streets that need to be repaved. We got to invest in our communities. Invest in our communities. All right, so for more information on that, please go to the peoplesbudgetla.org. Thank you. One more thing, I would be remiss if I didn't take this opportunity to have a moment of silence for our dear brother Chadwick Boseman. I wanted to be remiss on how powerful of a cultural icon he was, our superhero. He reflected the better part of our humanity. He took on the charge of embodying some of our greatest leaders that the black community in the world has ever seen. So if we could just take a moment to give the honor and the love that is due our dear brother Chadwick Boseman. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Now we're going to continue to march. We're going to march back this way, but before I have a couple of more announcements I want to make available to you. For one, again, my name is 11 St. James. I'm the founder of No More Names LA, our organization. We're based out of downtown Los Angeles. You can go to our website at nomorenamesla.org to find out more about what we're doing. We're about community development. We're about political reform. We're about educational reform. We're about using arts as a means to elevate social consciousness. That's how we really impact society, is giving people things to elevate their hearts, minds, and spirits. And in order to do that work, we need your help, so please go to nomorenamesla.org to find out more. I also wanted to highlight my sister Sierra's organization.
It's BLAC.
It's BLAC 4
BL. It's Black Taxi Dog. So it's Black Leadership Allied Coalition, all inclusive. You can't hear me? Oh, my bad. It's BLAC, the number 4 BL. BLAC, the number 4 BL. So I'm an actor. I play a black superhero. I'm very upset about Chadwick Boseman. I just want to say, the fact that that man had cancer for 4 years and he still gave us greatness, we can get it together for ourselves and for the future generations to get out there.
Alrighty, so we're going to keep this protest going. We're going to keep waking these people up, get them back in the streets, and show them that Black lives still matter here.
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 Black lives, they 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 matter here.
Black lives still 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 matter here.
The people united can never be divided.
The people united.
We're going to make over the on the way. The people united.
Will never be divided.
The people united will never be divided. The people united will never be divided. No more racism. No more racism. Enough is enough. Enough is enough.
Yeah, I do want you to go. It's okay. I gotta do everything. It's okay. I'm asking you. start doing commentary, and then we're finished.
What's your Instagram so I can find you guys?
We're the Combo Couch.
Combo Couch.
We're just conversations.
Johnny, nice to meet you, Johnny. Hi there.
Fiorella,
Nice to meet you. Fiorella. Excellent, pleasure. Were you able to film the speech?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
All right, perfect. I would love
It's on a live stream. Yeah. So you
Okay,
can
great.
rip it off.
Can we ask you a couple questions? Awesome. So hi, how are you? Can you tell me your name?
My name is Etienne Maurice from Walk Good LA.
Okay, and you guys are here for Black Lives, but I saw you also wanted to focus on voting and policy. What do you think of this election between Trump and Joe Biden? Do you feel like Joe Biden has offered a lot of solutions?
I think Joe Biden is doing the best he can. I feel like he could still do better with listening to what we're fighting for, which is defund the police, which is something that he does not specifically believe in. But we need to reallocate those funds that are going into the police and actually into the systems that actually support and protect Black lives. Because right now, for the last 400 years, our lives have not been protected, and this is what we are fighting for. So while we protest, we continue to really, really push for policy so that we can pay attention to these policies and figure out what they actually do. Because we can vote all we want, but if we don't understand what we're voting for, then we're just gonna keep seeing the same thing over and over and over again. I think that's the disconnect between young people voting and not voting, is actually knowing what we're voting for.
So yeah, like a lot of people are like not fans of Joe Biden because he did write the 1994 crime bill, and a lot of people feel like he should be out there trying to put propositions like defunding the police. How do you plan to hold him accountable?
I think right now we hold him accountable by first getting Trump out of office. I think by any means necessary, 45 has done nothing to support us and help us, nor has he shown that he actually cares for us. If he would have at least mentioned something about the loss of Jacob Blake. He would have said something about the loss of Breonna Taylor, but he doesn't care. I at least feel like Joe Biden actually cares about us and about the movement that we are trying to progress and continue. But I think at the end of the day, the primary focus needs to get Trump out of office.
And what are you doing to encourage people, young people, to participate? Because a lot of people feel like their vote doesn't count, it doesn't matter, they're apathetic, they see corruption going on both parties. How do you get them to get involved? Well,
if you look at it, if you think our vote doesn't matter, they wouldn't be trying so hard to suppress our vote. They wouldn't be throwing all of the mailing boxes in the trash can and hiding them so that we can't. So I think now we have to encourage the younger generation and other people from all communities from all over to really find ways in how which they can help to ensure that people receive their votes so that their votes are accounted for. I mean, I think really what it comes down to is fear and the willingness to feel as if though nothing can be done. But you have to reverse it. You have to encourage the next generation to know that you got to have faith and you have to have hope. You know, nothing can be changed without hope. So we got to instill hope back into this generation right now.
And what is your opinion on what went on in Kenosha, Wisconsin with Kyle Rittenhouse, who a lot of people, not just on the right, but a lot of people are now claiming he acted in self-defense. How does that make you feel as a young Black man?
That's BS. Because if you look at the video, he walked right past the police officers. It just goes to show you that racial inequity has never left, and it is still right there in front of our faces because now it's being filmed. We saw Jacob Blake being shot 7 times in his back as he went into his car to check on his 3 adolescent children. This guy, Kyle Rittenhouse, went into the middle of a protest and shot 3 people, killed 2, and was able to walk out alive and unscathed, not shot at. That just goes to show you that racial inequality is still right there in front of our face. And this is what we are fighting for so that we erase this, so that we are now treated as equal.
And regarding racial inequality, we also see a lot of income inequality across the nation. I mean, businesses are going down. We're also seeing people didn't get the money they were supposed to get. How do we combat both economic injustice, because that disproportionately affects people of color?
Of course, I think again it goes back to policy and us actually having. We need grants that are actually going to help fund small business owners, and which I think is a policy that Joe Biden is trying to push, so that once he's in office, government funding will actually fund small Black-owned businesses. That, and then on top of that, we have to teach the Black community financial literacy. We need to create more programs that are going to allow young Black entrepreneurs to thrive and survive in the economy that we are living in today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Sure, no problem. I hope I don't miss that damn protest.
Oh, okay.
Okay, you're good. I was like, where is
Okay.
she? Okay, good.
Brother, I know you're here. I'm here. You know, I've been to many of these protests. What do you think about voting for third party? Because honestly, I really don't. I do not like both Biden and Trump. Like, they're both terrible choices. Biden wrote the 1994 crime bill. Kamala was state prosecutor here. If we can say fuck Jackie Lacey, why can't we say fuck Kamala Harris?
Well, I think we should use different words than fuck Jackie Lacey and fuck Kamala Harris. Again, I come from a place of love, and I don't know all the answers at the end of the day. I don't know enough about the third party to speak on that. All I know is there's Democrat and Republicans. Yes, I could do more. I could do better doing more research on both parties so I can speak more intelligently about both parties. But until then, all I can encourage people is to vote, because I feel like at the end of the day, Joe Biden has some type of moral obligation to reverse how we're seen in America versus Trump. Because right now we're a laughingstock. When we look at Trump and how he talks to us and how he talks about us, no human being should be talking like that, especially when you hold a position of power, when you represent a country. And I feel like Joe Biden will at least do some type of change in terms of how we're looked at outside of the U.S. Because think about it. We can't go into other countries because of Trump and the policies that he's been setting in place. He's an obvious racist. I can't say the same about Biden, you know, at the end of the day. So my focus right now is to make sure that we encourage people to vote Trump out of office by any means necessary. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate you, brother.
Take care.
Johnny?
Yes.
Nice to meet you, Johnny.
Nice to meet you too. We'll come back.
My name's Hal, sir. I go by Hal. All right, use them in the marches.
Provocateur. Yeah. Okay. Here. Sorry, can I call you back? Okay.
We're still live.
Do some commentary on that, because I have a.
Do you want to talk? Let's
Yeah.
talk a little bit.
Well, is the sun okay here, or should we go somewhere else?
Put this on.
Yeah.
Let me get this on. 1 second, fam.
It's too bright. So, all right. So you guys saw that this group was a little bit different than a lot of the groups that we have been going to. Like I said, to a lot of people that say, oh, Black Lives Matter, it's all Soros funded. These are all a multitude of groups. Like, this group in particular are not as radical, as you can see, as the ones that come later on at night. they have, different points of views. The lady was talking about Obama. They're talking about voting in November, and obviously that's why we asked them these questions. But it like this isn't the way everybody thinks, and I just wanted to make sure people watching understand that this is why they're talking about Martin Luther King Jr. and peace and all of that. If I had a group, I would be talking about Malcolm X, Fred Hampton,
Fred
and no
Hampton.
mention of any of that. But that's okay because, like I said, people have different opinions. They have different knowledge. They even said like we're learning about
They said we're
policy.
learning.
Yeah, and here's the thing: like if we're gonna be rude to people just because they're not as like aware of the things we know, we're never gonna get their attention. We're never going to be able to have a conversation with them. It's the same thing. Like, I just think it's hypocritical because it's like, well, not everybody on the right is racist. Well, that's true. We can talk to those people too. I don't see a problem with talking to people on both ends. That's the thing. People just want you to talk to one side, and that's the problem. Like we're over here covering it as media, and and we're seeing the different opinions and the comparisons between the people here versus the people that come like at 9 p.m. and the protests that are going that are like more I don't know, like they're more radical, I would say, and they have a different kind of tactic. It's all about the tactics. How do you plan on getting there? But some of the things they mentioned were right. I mean, getting young people involved, getting people to those bills that I like that they went over that because a lot of people don't know what the hell are in bills. And I don't see anything wrong with supporting bills. Now, what I would like to see is people understanding that voting for either candidate, and now this is just obviously my personal opinion now, is not going to solve our problems because here's the one thing I would bring up is Seattle, Portland, Oregon, Washington State. They're run by Democrats. And those same Democrats were sending the police out there to tear gas and go after these same freaking people. And they were going against the Democrats there because guess what? That was their opposition. So I hope like we can continue to educate younger people on this show and on other shows that we talk about how we got to Donald Trump. The fact that Joe Biden wrote the crime bill is something so many people don't know. I mean, I did mention it to this young man, but like a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people don't want to talk about that. And the fact that Bill Clinton signed it into law as the president did so much damage. It did so much damage. And it is one of the reasons why we have Donald Trump now abusing what was already there for him to abuse. And so if we go back and just say, well, we have to get Trump out of office, and then what? After you get Trump out of office, I really don't care if Trump or Biden win. I think, but I do think it's important to point out, especially, I think why people of color, especially black people, see Trump as so vile is because he has literally fomented racism. And as racist as Biden is in a crypto fascist underlying sort of way,
Secretive way.
yeah, he's secretive about it, which is, in a way, it's worse. But to people who we are emotional creatures who don't really understand, who we're really, we things tug at our heartstrings, right? And so you have to see it from a different point of view then, because it's like he's directly fomenting this violence and inciting all of this against the black people and brown people. So I understand why there's that sentiment of, yeah, Donald Trump is absolutely terrible, and he is policy-wise too, but the fact is Joe Biden's record is abysmal. It's abysmal when it comes to criminal justice. And so is Kamala. I didn't even get to bring up Kamala Harris, who has jailed more black and brown people. And to me, it's really shitty that we're in this situation. But I think instead of being like, oh, these people, they don't know what they're doing, like people are doing what they can with what they know. Not everybody knows what we know. And so we just have to try to educate people and get them to understand. Because guess what? If Biden wins, I think that's actually gonna make the Democrats look bad. I think it's going to, they're gonna fail really bad. But I also think if Trump wins, it's going to continue this mass movement of protests. So either way, we'll see what happens. I just have to say, like, it's a very nuanced thing when you talk to people, because you have to understand where they're coming from as to why they hate Donald Trump so much. Yeah, it is a media manipulation too, because it's hypocrisy that the Democratic Party isn't offering. He knows they're not offering to defund the police. They're not offering any of these things that we need. But at the same time, he is saying those things like, you know, to like shoot people, to like go after these mobs, these rioters. That kind of language is never going to make these people go to your side, ever. And if you dismiss race, it's never going to make them go to your side either.
Trump has definitely been empowering racists. I feel like, I don't know, I've heard some more racist rhetoric since Trump's presidency.
Not only since
Now-
Trump's presidency, but since George Floyd. I agree with what they said. It seems like since George Floyd, people are more like empowered to do that, because now it's like, oh,
Because the mainstream media keeps calling all these protesters who are peaceful protesters rioters and
she
looters.
said that at the
and
very beginning, and I agree with that. Like, she literally said these protests have been peaceful. This is an example of a typical peaceful protest that happens during the day. Even the night ones, though, they're not like not peaceful. They're just more aggressive in what they're doing.
Well, they have shields, they have helmets,
Because
and then the worst that they're doing is throwing water bottles.
Yeah, because the police come and they tear gas people, so they have to be ready. And you know, like I said, like the one thing that can prove to you that nothing will fundamentally change under Biden. One, he said that. Two, states like Washington and Oregon have Democratic governors and Democratic entirely controlled Congress and Senate, and it doesn't matter because they're not doing the things they're supposed to do, and the people still have to go out there and be protesting. And I think, like, for me right now, I disagree with the fact that voting like is the most important thing you can do. I think the most important thing you can do is be out here, like in whatever capacity for whatever cause, you know. But I think like you can't. I see a lot of people like who are reacting to my video that I was talking about Kyle Rittenhouse, because I stand by that. He was not acting in self-defense, and a lot of people have. That's why I asked that question too. Want to pretend that this kid was acting in self-defense? He literally went across state lines to do what he did, and they were trying to stop him. Now I have a little bit of breaking news. I'm pretty sure it's all over Fox News. But in Kenosha, Wisconsin right now, where our friends from our Wisconsin Revolution are, there was a man that was one of the speakers. Like I said, it was a giant group of people protesting. Some of them Jacob Blake's family, and some of them were just protests from all kinds of organizations. Like I said, it's not a monolith. Somebody got on stage, and I have my sources telling me maybe possibly likely a provocateur, because the person actually said, we need to kill white people, like out loud, right? And it was caught in a live stream, and I'm going to try to upload it as soon as I get home. And to me, that is the stupidest thing you could say right now, because it's just going to make things worse. And so they believe this person was a provocateur, but of course Fox News has already grabbed it and is going to play that clip, and it's going to incite people, and it's going to get people to like literally go and attack people now. Like now we're elevating this civil war. No, like we don't want civil war. We shouldn't want civil war. Like if you really want things to change, you don't want to focus on just like going after these people. You can go after them in other ways. You don't have to go after them violently. But this is what I mean. That tit for tat attitude, that doesn't sound like the vast majority of the people that have been here, they would never say that. That's breaking right now. Fox is probably going to start spinning the clip. It's probably everywhere by now, but just so you guys know, we believe it was a provocateur, and we have people on the ground there that have been covering what's going on in Kenosha. So
I wanted to say earlier that I'm not quick to cancel anybody who says vote, go vote, but because everyone here has had empire education.
right.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody here has had empire education. They've been taking the books. There's only white authors for these books, white textbooks, white dictionaries. If you look at a black dictionary and you look at if you look at the white dictionary and then you look at the definition, it was in the movie for Malcolm X. You look at the definition for what black stands for and what white stands for. White is like pure or whatever, and then black was like dark and they use like the words and the synonyms. It was negative connotation and it was positive connotation for the color white. And this is an old book, old dictionary. So the history's there. The history's there. And this country, was formed in a racist fashion.
Yeah.
Colonialism, imperialism are racist because you come in and you fucking kill whoever's here. The indigenous people, the indigenous Native Americans, they did it in South America, they did it in Central America, they've done it in the Middle East, they're doing it right now in the Middle East. Trump hasn't really started any wars, but he's been continuing this, and he kind of wanted to start a war with Iran. Obama's bad. Bush Jr. bad. Bush Sr. was a CIA official. Bill Clinton was terrible. In 1997, under his presidency, Congress passed they started to arm the police with military weapons. And the NDAA of 1997, you can look it up. It is that's when they started to arm the police. And then Obama kept on doing it. And I don't know if Trump has stopped it or not, but I haven't looked into that.
Probably not.
But I don't think he has.
And Obama too. Let's mention Obama because it's like still a lot of people still don't know how bad Obama is or don't want to hear it because again, you have to understand for people who were told that they would never amount to anything, that they would never be anything, to see the first black president is a big deal. And so unfortunately when Obama turned out to be an imperialist, that literally set so many things backward. Like it's a fact that Obama dealt with a lot of racism. That's undeniable. The way they spoke about him when he was president. I wouldn't attack Obama in that way. I'm attacking Obama from the left because he's an imperialist and he's a neoliberal and he ran on hope and change and he literally transferred so much wealth from the poor to the rich Wall Street banks, deregulated all of that. Flint, Michigan was in crisis. He didn't do a goddamn thing. He still hasn't done a thing. Now he goes behind the scenes manipulating everything, getting players to stop protesting. And that to me is disgusting. And Fred Hampton said that if we didn't tackle both imperialism, capitalism, along with racial inequity, along with white supremacy, we were going to see a black imperialist someday. And guess what? That's who Obama is. Obama is the black imperialist that Fred Hampton was talking about. And we have to understand that. And that's not racist to say that. That is a fact. Obama could be like rainbow. And I would say that. We have so many other imperialists who have been white. Like we could start. Ronald Reagan was one of the worst presidents we had with the drug war on drugs. Nixon. I mean, we could go down the line as to how awful the vast majority of the white presidents have been. This has nothing to do with just attacking Obama. But Obama campaigned on hope and change, and he literally co-opted black people to fall in line with neoliberalism. And now we're seeing the remnants of that. This is why Joe Biden has any support at all, because of Barack Obama. That's it. And so we have to teach people that, guess what, Joe Biden he's not for defunding the police, at least they know, and they just think that they can handle him better than Trump, even though I think like it doesn't matter because at the end of the day they're getting paid the same. They're taking that money. So we have to understand that the core problem here is the system we're living in. Capitalism is failing, imperialism is failing, and we're in late stage capitalism right now. And if you read Marxist theory, and a lot of people want to vilify Marxism. It's literally a theory. And if you read that theory, you're in the stage 4 of late stage capitalism. And, the next step would be socialism. And then the next step is utopia, which they considered communism. Now, I'm not saying that is like the sacred Bible you have to follow, but I am saying, based on what the description is, we are dealing with imperialism and late-stage capitalism, and it is falling apart, and we need social safety nets for people. I mean, we do. We don't have Medicare for all. We don't have people who are aware that we bomb brown and black people every day, and nobody cares because we're too busy focusing on what's going on here, obviously, and people are too busy with their lives working 3 to 4 jobs. And so the solution isn't to vilify people because they don't know, and that goes on both ends. The solution is to educate them and continue talking to them, making conversations with people, and continuing to put out videos like this. That's That's I think the solution. But there is one thing that people aren't going to look the other way on, and that's racism. We will never unite, and I'm going to keep saying this. If you think less of somebody else, they're not going to go and attack the elites with you. If you're not in there, like when people are getting killed, you have to admit that there's a disproportionate issue between police and people of color. Now, obviously, police are awful in general to everybody, and that nobody's denying that. Nobody's denying that white people are poor in the Midwest. Like, the fact that the Democratic Party didn't pay attention to that is why they lost. They literally lost Michigan, they lost the Midwest, they lost the South because they weren't paying attention to the poor white working class. Nobody's saying we shouldn't pay attention to that. We absolutely should. But to make martyrs out of somebody like Kyle Rittenhouse and say he should be president and say we need him to kill more people, don't kid yourself. You can feel that way. You're entitled to feel however you want. But don't pretend that it's because you want to fight like the global elites only. It's because you want supremacy and you just want to, like, in a way, you don't care about race because it doesn't affect you. And there's so many people that get angry when we talk about race, and that's a problem. You shouldn't get angry. It's not, nobody's attacking you by talking about race. Don't get defensive because we're talking about race. Like, we talk about foreign policy, economics. We literally attack the corruption in the Democratic Party too. But you best know that we're also going to attack the Republican Party and their corruption because they're awful. And both of them are two sides of the same coin. So I'm not going to sit here and be a bootlicker to either establishment, period. So it's funny because we get attacked from both sides, both the neoliberals and both the Republicans. And it's just hilarious because that means we're doing something right.
Yes, we are. I just want to say, along with Empire Education, the people are working. They're working before this pandemic, 9 to 5s, people working multiple jobs, especially out here in Los Angeles where you have to work like 3 jobs to be able to afford rent and provide for your kids if you have kids. This is why I'm not planning on having any kids. Why would you bring kids into this fucking horrible world? There's a lot to discuss, and there's a lot of education that we need to get rid of Empire Education. We need to re-educate the people. Because Empire Education tells you that it's good to go invade countries for democracy and steal their resources and kill their fucking people, kill their brown and black people that live there. They're already in poverty, and you put them more in poverty. And then in Palestine, take their water away, take their energy away, put them in a fucking put them in a jail. And if they're protesting, they shoot you down. Here they're shooting us with rubber bullets. They're shooting real live bullets in Palestine.
And that's funded by our U.S. military-industrial complex. We fund that. The same Democrats that are supposedly going to make things better for brown people and black people here are literally funding Israel with the arms, Saudi Arabia with the arms to go after the Palestinian and the Yemeni people. Like, that's hypocrisy. This is what people get stuck on. That people on the right are like, well, the Democrats are corrupt. They did this, and it's like, yeah, you're absolutely right. They're corrupt. And then people on the left are like, oh, the Republicans, they did this, and they're awful. They're racist. You're both freaking right. That's the problem. And instead of fighting each other, you need to go after these politicians that are putting out propaganda to get you to pick Team A and Team B and to fight each other instead of holding those fuckers accountable. That's it. That's what it is. The more we are divided and we are looking at each other and fighting each other, this is why I'm not for a race war, but I'm also not for people standing by and doing nothing as people get shot. The more we're not going to be able to unite and go after, and the more you mock racism and pretend that it's not an issue when it clearly is an issue, the more this cycle is going to continue and the more they're going to divide you. It has to be both. It has to be both. If they killed Malcolm X and Fred Hampton for stating the same things, that tells you that it has to be both, because the moment you attack both is the moment they're done. That's it. You're going to go after them, and they're going to have zero ability to stop us. That's what we need to do, is come together and address economic inequality, racial inequality, imperialism, foreign policy, protect our civil liberties, protect everything. But nobody's going to join together if we don't address those issues together. They are two mechanisms used by imperialism to perpetuate this cycle. And that's, it's as simple as that. You cannot mock one or the other. We all suffer under this horrible economy. But right now, black and brown people, on top of the economic issues they face, are facing people who want to kill them simply because, you know, of their color of the skin. Now, is it a lot of people? No, I don't think it's a lot of people. I think it's a lot of loud people online. I don't think it's a lot of people. I think the vast majority of America really isn't that racist. I think
I feel like most people are compassionate. I feel like most people are compassionate human beings. I'd like to think that most people have a good heart. Although it looks like there are a lot of hateful people out there. Maybe they're going through things. Maybe they're going through economic ruinancy. Maybe they're going through and they have to blame somebody. And
I think that's what it is. I think that's what it is. I mean, I think if they're going through things, they blame somebody. But that's why Donald Trump is a problem too. You can't deny that he's a problem because he literally is fomenting. Oh, blame the immigrants. Blame these people. Blame the rioters, the looters. He's fomenting that. And Joe Biden is a gaslighter. He's gaslighting people into being like, look how bad Trump is while he's offering zero policy solutions. So again, these politicians are fucking useless. Stop relying on them to change anything. They're not going to change anything. If you told Joe Biden that you're going to give him your vote no matter what he does to you, why the hell would he give you anything? How are you going to hold him accountable when you don't have any money and his donors have all the money and all the power? This is what people need to understand, how the system works. But I think we can educate people on that, especially the young people that were here today. I think we can use social media and videos and TikTok and whatever the hell to educate people because a lot of them just don't know. They don't know the truth. They think that, you know, a lot of these kids here may think that Democrats are so much better than Republicans. And instead of saying, you're all idiots, you're all a bunch of dumbasses, guess what I'm going to say? You know what? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about how we got here. Let's talk about the years of neoliberalism that preceded Donald Trump and how it's going to be worse if we don't stop it. How we're going to get a more competent, far right, a real far right guy that could be far worse than Trump. Like, would you like Pence? Would you like Tom Cotton in power? No, I think the vast majority of people aren't there. I think the way we've been traveling, the vast majority of people just want to live their lives and have no problems and just have a normal life. Like, they don't want anything crazy out of this world. But the problem is they can't anymore. Most people can't live their life like that anymore. And we have to disrupt this system. It has to fall apart in order to build something new. And like I said, if we would have had Fred Hampton, Malcolm X live and push these ideas, forget it. We had an anti-war movement there. We don't have an anti-war movement anymore. And we don't have an anti-war movement because they vilified the hippies. They made them out to be drug addicts. And they turned around and literally made it completely un-American to not be pro-war. And we have to fight against that and bring it back.
It's literally in some FBI files that they targeted, they used a drug war to take out black activists and also anti-war activists. It literally says anyone who's anti-war, anyone who's black activists like Fred Hampton or Malcolm X, they have too much power. We have to get rid of them. Like, that's how the racist system that's been built up in this fucking country. And to anyone who's a party loyalist, why the fuck are you loyal to a party who doesn't give a shit about you? On the Republicans and Democrats, they don't give a shit about you. They don't. Look at their donor list. Look at their donor list. They have millionaires, billionaires donating to them. They're not for the people. They're for their buyers, their donors, their owners. They're for their owners.
They own them. They are owned by corporations, even if they care. And I think Bernie Sanders once talked about this, like, low key. He was like, there are some people that actually go in with good intentions, but they can't because, like, you can't get anything done. I mean, look at the squad. Look at how crippled they are because of Nancy Pelosi. Look at exactly what's going on with that. Like, they won't even do anything because they're afraid to lose their positions. To me, that's not good enough. I wouldn't do that. I would use the people behind me to get me to do what I need to do. But the reality is that is what it is. The machine is too big. So I don't believe in reform. In fact, I just read this quote by a wonderful black man, and I forget his name. I think it's Garrison. He said that if you really want, if once you really get down to it, the word reform is a form of fascism, because reforming, you're only fixing the top surface layer of something. You're never going after the core issue. And the core issue here isn't getting rid of Republicans. It's not getting rid of Democrats. It's getting rid of the whole fucking system that has literally perpetuated this entire thing going on forever and ever. I mean, we saw some of the images that were happening during the civil rights movement, and how they were speaking about the protesters. Was it Nixon, or was it
Reagan?
No, it was Nixon first, and
Start off with Nixon.
and the way they were speaking about the protesters, the way they were speaking about how they were telling them that we need to get them off the streets. These are violent people. You could literally put that right and set it up to today, and it could be the same words coming out of these politicians' mouth, because it's not just Donald Trump saying those things. It's like all like across the board. Well, we're not okay with violence. Listen, violence is you're always going to be violent when you're fighting the system. You're always going to be violent. They're always going to make you look violent, even if you're not violent. And that's the thing. MLK is a popular guy that a lot of people who decry the protests love to point out. Oh, see, MLK, he was peaceful. Why can't you be peaceful like him? Well, you fucking shot him. That's why. Hey, if you're peaceful, they're going to shoot you. If you're violent, they're going to shoot you. So what is the solution? The solution is to really have more than one leader, organize, and to really be more intelligent about how we do these things. Now we have the internet. The internet makes things a little bit different now than it did before. It changes the whole game of the system. So we're all going to have to figure out how we're going to get this done. But we're never going to get this done if we start killing each other and going after the wrong people. Like, and we start letting ourselves be led astray by news that is so biased, like the ultra right or the neoliberal centrist news by MSNBC or CNN. Like, none of that is going to help us. It's a detriment. The media is such a huge culprit. They're not media, they're propaganda. They're full on propaganda. And they've done so much damage and caused so much turmoil between people who should be locked arms fighting together instead of fighting each other.
Mic drop.
All right, fam, are we gonna head out?
Yeah.
All right, guys. So thanks for watching the broadcast.
We might be on later on tonight because there's supposed to be a protest tonight. The other night, they trapped protesters in a tunnel.
Yeah, they did.
The protesters, they're just marching. They're not doing anything. They're not fucking doing anything. They're just marching, and they trapped them in a tunnel because they were gonna try and disrupt the tunnel highway, and they got on both sides. Police formed a line on both sides. And then they told them to lower their shields because they had shields because they're ready to they're not. No one wants to get hit by rubber bullets for exercising their First Amendment right. So they had shields. Okay, in an act of good faith, they lowered their shields. And then what happened? The police literally started shooting rubber bullets at them.
But Johnny, if they would have only did what the police said. Did they do what the police said?
They did exactly what the police said.
Oh.
And then so they started shooting them from the back, and then the police in the front was like, "That's not us. That's not us." It's like, who the hell is it then? So many people got hit. A journalist got hit with a pump shotgun, point blank. Vishal P. Singh, who I want to get on the show eventually. So yeah, you gotta watch out. And if you're not out on the streets, then you gotta support by sharing. You can share. You don't have to do money. You can support by watching independent news like us. You can watch us, support us, throw us a little cash, buy us a coffee, whatever the price of a coffee is. Throw us that. Go to Rockfin, ROKFIN. It's a cryptocurrency-based platform. And basically, we have a lot of free content. Sometimes we do premium content, but you pay $10 a month and you get access to everybody's premium content. Jimmy Dore's on there, Kim Iverson, Status Quo, Graham Elwood, Tina Desiree Berg, Ron Placone's on there. All the fams are on there. You know what I'm saying? So we're on there. Nico's on there. So there's many ways that you can support, and I like seeing people on the streets. This is a historic moment. Do you guys understand? This is history, right? This is history in the making. There hasn't been protests this large since the 1960s and 70s when MLK and Fred Hampton and Malcolm X were marching. So this is huge, and this is big news. And I hope we see change, man. I hope we see change, and I don't want to see any more blood on the streets. I don't want to see blood on the streets.
I think we need a Black Panther party. I would love a Black Panther party. I would join it in a
Power to the
heartbeat.
people.
Like they like, I'm telling you, if I had somebody that I most aligned with politically, it would probably be Malcolm X and Fred Hampton. 100%. I mean, they knew what they were talking about. They literally understood that it has to be both race and class that we address, because one without the other, we fail. If we address race only, it's going to be symbolic, because if you don't address the economics, fine, people may not be racist, but you're still going to be poor. And if you only address the economics, people are still going to be racist, even if you're all wealthy. Like, I mean, you have to do both. It is not a difficult concept, and to do both. And once we do both, that's when, trust me, that's when they'll be afraid. That's when they'll be like, what the hell are we going to do? Because guess what? It's like that picture where everybody's like this, and then you look up and you're breaking through the ceiling. That's what they fear the most. They love it when we fight each other. They absolutely love it. They're like, yeah, team A, team B, team red, team blue. But the moment people start participating and they're like, wait a minute, it's these fuckers. Yeah, okay. Like, let's go after them. That's the moment that I'm waiting for. And that's the moment that I think we can make happen with good leadership. I think that's the next step.
And I think it's coming. Thank you so much for watching us. Hold on. We have a couple super chats. So I'm going to see these real quick. $50 super chat from Kathy Lloyd. We love you.
Thank you, Kathy.
Great show. Agree 100%. Have a drink on me, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
That's literally the cost of a drink out here in LA. SEK 200, so 200 Swedish coins, I think it is. Of course, you can mock right wingers. Endgame of their play is owning something or someone. Sure. What do you think of that?
I mean, you know what? I get really pissed off at some of racism, though. Like, I can tolerate a lot of things, but when people are racist to me, that's just something I can't like work with. That I can work with you not thinking we should have more particular borders. I can work with you thinking that, you know, well, you want a public option, and I can be like, okay, well, you're wrong, but let's talk about this. But if you think a person is worth less because of the color of their skin, I have zero tolerance for that. That's it. I mean, I can't work with that. I can work with people who are unaware of their prejudices. That's cool, because again, it's empire education. But there's a difference between that and people who literally hate others because they think that they're less.
Tejaswi from India, I believe. Can you start at home and stop funding the complex by not buying cheap shades, clothes, and mic and camera from countries where the poor are exploited? I'm from India. Our children pay for your lifestyle. I
don't think our mics are from. I think our mics are from here, but I'm not sure.
Well, my glasses. I don't know. This is Sennheiser. This is a Sennheiser.
Most of the
made in Germany. This one says made in Germany.
Most of the things, I honestly try to avoid buying like cheap stuff because I know it comes from sweatshops. I tell people any of like the Kylie Jenner crap, the makeup stuff that's made in sweatshops, don't buy it.
And Pasta stopped buying Nikes and bananas a long time ago. So, because if you don't know, go, what's it called? Chiquita. Chiquita's from Honduras.
Yeah,
slave labor, child slave labor.
Yeah.
So I mean, maybe these glasses are. I don't know. I mean,
we're not.
We're trying. We're not. We're definitely not well off. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching us, and we might be back later on.
Combo out.
Convo out.